Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Attacking football.
Hello and welcome to the Attacking Football live stream. We are live today because we have had some monumental news this week. Erik Ten Hag has finally been sacked. Looks like this man is joining the club. To talk about this, joining me is Paddy, odds on FBL, and Riddy from the Muppetiers. How you doing, boys?
Good, thanks.
I'm good.
Welcome. What do you think? What's going on?
Get in!
No, I mean, obviously, very excited, but my brand is positivity, and unfortunately that was sucked out of me by a bald man. And so I'm back to positivity. I'm back to the positive take on all things United. So I feel really good. I feel great about the future, and I think that it was necessary and should have happened about, I don't know, when was April? 7 months ago? So 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So
Paddy?
You know what? There was a time that every bald man I saw walking down the road, I wanted to slap them on their heads. And now I no longer feel like that. So I feel good.
Good, man. Look, we've got producer Alfie with us as well. He's on the screen this week. His first ever live stream. Alfie, you were very much Ten Hag in. How you feeling now, mate?
Yeah, look, like we were saying, I was very much Ten Hag in. Everyone that was in that Attacking Football group chat knew that I wanted him to stay. But he needed to go, didn't he? I think we can all agree that you can't finish 8th one season and then keep talking. Like, he kept just, the comments he kept saying were just making it worse and worse and worse. The one he made after West Ham was saying, hopefully we can turn it around like we did towards the end of the last season. Our last 12 games, we won 4. We're Man United and we've won 4 out of 12. That's not turning it around. So, look, to be honest, I'm kind of happy he's gone now, bless him.
No, I agree. Okay. Listen, we want to hear from you guys as well in the chat. So pop your questions down there. Scott is going to be throwing the questions over to us, so we'll answer as many as we can. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can come and join us every week. Okay, look, Paddy, where did it go wrong for Erik Ten Hag? Because look, he had a decent start to life as Man United manager. His first season, he did relatively well. He won 2 trophies. As he told us repeatedly over the last 6 months. What actually went wrong for him?
Oh, so many things. I just think he just didn't have the personality to manage Man United. I think if you look at what happened in the first season, the first half of the season was very good. But then after the World Cup, performances started to falter quite a lot. I think people might agree, might disagree on this, but I do think we started to get a lot of flaky results in the first season. Obviously, the cup win papered over cracks. We did all right. We did all right, finishing in Europe and all that. But then the second season, investment, and like the first season as well, getting rid of Ronaldo, there was toxic players there. I think he handled Sancho well. There was a lot of issues. At the end of the day, there was a lot of issues that he had to deal with. And I think what really killed it for him was there wasn't buy-in in his system. At first, he came in with this tactic. It was his style of player, the highway, and then he became a pragmatist. He threw everything out the window. He stopped caring about how he wanted to play. And then when he started going into a more defensive style, and I really am just waffling at this point because really the reason is Anthony.
I mean, can we really say that a man's entire Manchester United career came tumbling down because of an £80 million Brazilian?
95 million. But I do think anybody, his legacy is going to be Anthony. I think people can say it's going to be those 2 trophies. His legacy and his memory is going to be Anthony. The signings that were made were terrible. I think Lisandro Martinez is obviously a good signing, but injury prone. We'll probably have to eventually replace him as well, unless we move to a 3-man defense. Casemiro's awful, but did he want him? He signed off on him. And then probably his 2 best signings have been the free ones.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, getting your signings right at Manchester United is so important to you making it there. And that was one of the key things that went wrong for him.
Riddy, you're being asked, was Amorim your first choice?
Yes. I'm going to say yes. I know, I feel like I've been influenced on that by definitely James, but by a lot of people, I think really liked Amorim. I also think specifically of the people we could get. For example, I don't think Nagelsmann would ever come. I do like Nagelsmann. I think his time at Bayern was a little bit. I know it was good. I know he was really good in the Champions League, and that all fell apart when he left. And I think in the league he was iffy, which is why they ended up sacking him. But I do think Amorim was the choice that I would have gone for. I think number one for me is that I just really want someone with a personality, like Patty has said. He may have said before we started, but I don't remember. I tweeted this that he was just Ten Hag was just like the most uncharismatic person that I've ever had to listen talk. Right. And the thing is that may work in the Dutch league where, you know, and the other thing is like there is probably potentially a charisma gap because of language barrier. Like I maybe in Dutch, he's like super charismatic. I don't speak Dutch. I don't know. But there's a good chance that in Dutch, he's really charismatic. So I think that the problem is potentially just when you manage Manchester United, you need to have a lot of charisma. And Emre is really young. He's from what I've
39.
Great. Yeah, youngest manager will ever have had. He's very charismatic. He's a great communicator. He's really good at conveying his ideas well to the team. And I think a lot of the problem that we had with Antony specifically, and I know obviously Patty was probably exaggerating when he said Antony was the entire problem. I think that a lot of it did start with him. And a lot of it stems from the fact that Ten Hag had trouble communicating why certain players were picked over other players, right? And what that ends up leading to is a lot of discontent in the team and a lot of anger. And so I think what you had is Antony starting every game for a while, right? And he didn't deserve it. And there was an inability to communicate that to the players properly, and that caused an issue. So yeah, I'm very happy with Amorim. I'm really happy it's a young guy, charismatic. Yeah, I mean, it's a great choice.
I think one of the things as well is it's not only with Antony where there's been players who probably shouldn't be starting as many games have started as many games.
Yeah.
Like under Ten Hag, I do agree he probably didn't vocalize it properly, but yet players were just played until they either got injured or got a bit of form. With Antony, it's just like that was his toy, that was his project to prove people right. And I think at the end of the day, that as much as I don't like Antony as a player, it just hasn't worked out.
No, and it's not Antony's fault, is it?
No, like as in, you know what? If I got hired for a job and I was shite, it's not my fault. It's the recruiter's fault.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's probably a little bit my fault as well, to be honest.
I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I think it's. I don't know. Like for a lot of the players that we've had, the reason why they've been performing poorly, and I will stick to my guns that our players are good. I will stick to my guns, and I think that thank God we have a real manager.
Except Antony.
Except for Antony. That's what I was Except for Antony. Antony is the only player that and here's what I was going to say is that Rashford's been basically played out of position. I would say, Højlund and Xerxes have not been played to their strengths, and Garnacho should be coming off the bench, and Ahmad should be starting. And there's all these players that you can, and the midfield doesn't exist because for some reason Ten Hag doesn't know how to make one. Like whatever the reason is, our players have not been playing well because they've not been playing in a position and in a way that suits their strengths. Antony just stinks. That's it. He's just bad.
Yeah. Antony sort of reminds me.
There's no good position.
Do you remember when we had Antonio Valencia back in the day?
Yes.
The way he was so predictable and he was so frustrating. I love Antonio Valencia, don't get me wrong. But he was so predictable in how he played because all he did was run forward and it would always be on his right foot. The same with Antony. It was always cutting back onto his left. Basically like a B-Tech, Arjen Robben. But he just didn't have the finishing. And the thing is in football, it's all about fine margins. Antony could have scored so many more goals in his first and second season, but it just didn't happen. And then it's sort of the same with Maguire and players like that. Money impacts views. And when you spend that sort of money on a player, you expect them to at least get 10 goals, 10 assists in a season. And even in the Eredivisie, he wasn't that.
No, you're right. He didn't have the stats to back it up there either, really. Okay. But there's been a lot of discourse on social media over the last few days after Erik got his marching orders but those people who were very much Ten Hag out The opposite side of that were very much screaming, you're going to be saying the same thing in 6 months' time when this group of players gets the next manager sacked. Yeah, I am as well, and that's why I wanted to address it, right? There is probably a really good argument that Erik Ten Hag's job was elongated by the form of Rashford in his first season. Would you agree with that? Because Rashford went on a form after the World Cup. He absolutely ripped up the Premier League, and he was probably the best player in the world at the time.
He was always going to be staying on in this first season. It didn't matter. There wasn't going to be a Moyes situation there. But
I would have sacked him after the 7-0. I would have done it. It made sense to me. If I own that club or if I'm the director, that is so beyond unacceptable to me. I would have sacked him.
I think the thing is the standards. I 2 or 3 under Ole, I hated the term when people were saying standards are at the floor, but now they're actually at the floor of where we expect to lose in these sort of games massively. So I don't know. I wouldn't have sacked him. I would have given him the opportunity because you know what, 7-0 to us is sort of common nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, look, I've got another question from the chat from Ziad. How do you think Amorim is going to fit Bruno in, and if so, which of the wingers is he going to drop to get him in?
He's going to be on the right.
He's not going to play as a winger. He doesn't play wingers.
He's going to play him.
Amorim doesn't play wingers. Amorim plays
wing backs.
3 at the back,
but then a right center attacking mid.
2 wing backs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then he'll do probably
it's a 3-4-3.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a 5-2-4. Like it really depends on the game, but it's always 5 at the back with 2 wing backs, and then he plays a pivot.
Yeah, which would be Ugarte.
It'll be Ugarte, yeah,
and Manu probably.
Yeah, some combination of. I would probably say Bruno. I personally, and I am Player FC. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I'm sorry.
Have you been drinking, bro?
It has. I personally think Ahmad would actually play better in the tight, because he likes tight spaces. Amorim's all about kind of the tight spaces and the passes in the tight spaces. I think that Bruno is too risky, and I think Ahmad is much better in tight spaces. And so if you even did like Xerxes Ahmad, Højlund, or Garnacho Ahmad, Højlund, or whatever, right? That work. I'm curious to see what he's going to end up doing with this. I think he'll have to. I think he'll play 5 at the back because I think that's what he's known for. And apparently he didn't want to go to Liverpool because Liverpool told him he couldn't play 5 at the back, or 3 at the back. Sorry, 3 at the back with 2 wing backs. And so I think that the fact that we're allowing him to do so means that he's definitely going to do it. The question is like, where do we go from there? And I do think that he could potentially choose Ahmad over Bruno at least.
I think the thing is, we're defensively at centre back, it's probably the best we've ever been for creating a team where we have 3 centre backs. Like Lenny Yaro's fit, Martinez would be great as a left centre back, Yaro, and then if Maguire gets renewed as well. But then also De Ligt. Those are quality centre backs. But the thing is, the issue is, do you play one of our wingers as a wing back? Do you play Ahmad as a right wing back?
No, he's too slow.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't think Anthony, the discourse around Anthony at left wing back has to stop as well, because it's driving me mental.
I think it's funny.
All you're doing is giving him another thing to be shit at. Because currently he has 1 responsibility, and that's to go forward. You give him 2, you're fucked. So
does that not mean that we need a new left wing back, a new right wing back?
No, we don't, because we sold one. We sold one that we have a buyback clause for, who's currently killing it.
So we need to sign another one then.
Yeah, but that's still signing them, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but is that signing or is that like
we have to spend money for that, really. We've also got Harry Amas in the academy, who he
needs a loan though, doesn't he? He needs
he
does. I don't think he's ready for a free back yet, like every week.
Well, actually, no, because I think that would actually help him, because he wouldn't need quite as much support defensively, or rather, he would have more support defensively. And he could focus a bit more on moving forward. I think 3 at the back would help Amas rather than hinder him.
I still think he's too young.
Yes.
Too young. What is he, 17, 18?
Yeah.
17, 17.
Didn't Garnacho come on at 17? Like he
so really... but But it's maturity levels as opposed to physical age, isn't it?
But I don't know if we know his maturity levels. Or have any of us talked to him? Like, I don't think that.
Mate, he lives around the corner from me.
You have a conversation with the guy. Like, what
I
the
think
hell
the
does
thing
Ten
is
Hag do?
though,
Like,
no, but when it comes to like centre backs or left backs or right backs, defenders, basically, it can destroy a career if you make a mistake early on. With a winger, you sort of have that like fearlessness about you. You can just run at players. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Look at Mikey Moore for Tottenham there the other week. 17 years old.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, but come
in
on.
the Europa League.
Are we not all sick of Garnacho just running headfirst into every single defender?
Yeah, but
like,
you remember
he's
how
got
there's a limit that people are okay with.
Yeah, but do you remember how good it was for the first 10 games though?
Hang on.
It'd be better if he came on and did it. It's not good
Jesus
from the get-go it's not good from the start of the game. He should be a super sub. Like, I don't know. Like, what
Rashford? Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
No, Rashford and Ahmad. Play Rashford and Ahmad. Like, it's just like I'm biased because I like Ahmad a lot, but like honestly, it just makes more sense. Like, you have someone who's better direct, who can pass better, and then you have someone who just like puts his head down and run, and that's going to be better when opponents have more tired legs. Yeah. Like, it just makes more sense.
And Garnacho gets so many chances that he fucks up as well.
Yeah,
but again, that's maturity. That's inexperience, and
let's not forget, he is still young. Ability, like
he's played 100 games for United.
That's a lot of games, though.
Young.
Yeah, he is young.
He's young. Look, let's get back to the matter at hand. I want to have a bit of a conversation about Amorim and his credentials, because it's probably accurate to say that coming into United, he has less experience than Ten Hag did when he came in. He certainly doesn't have the European pedigree that Ten Hag has. He has a better record domestically, maybe, but is that gonna hinder him when it comes to playing in European competition for a club like Man United?
The Ten Hag European success was a drop in the bucket, right? It was a splash in the bucket. It was a splash in the pan, whatever, who cares? The point I'm trying to make is that it was a one-off, right? You can say the same exact thing
Jardine
about when Roma made it to the Champions League semifinal after beating Barcelona. Like, plenty of teams have made it to the Champions League semifinal that have been like just a fluke. And I think everyone, I also, if you look statistically, I will say Amorim has been better in Europe, right? He's one of the best teams in Europe. Obviously, they're not winning, but this year they're undefeated. His league stats are insane. I don't think it's going to hinder him at all. And if anything, I think that it might help, because he'll have, there's probably less pressure on him to deliver at start, whereas Ten Hag came in and he had a lot of pressure on him because of that run to the semifinal and the fact that he was like 30 seconds away from getting to the Champions League final.
Shout out James in the chat, by the way. Hi, James. Paddy, sorry I interrupted you then.
Me?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something.
No.
I have a question. I have a question for you anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of the conversation on social media at the moment is around when Amorim is going to be taking charge. Some people think he's going to be in charge for the Chelsea game. Some people think it's going to be a couple of weeks. Let's say that his contract is wrapped up tonight and he's on a flight tomorrow. Do you put him in charge against Chelsea?
Now, hear me out. I don't know much about UK visa laws. Can he?
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why not.
Because of Brexit,
let's imagine that he can.
But like, as in, do you not remember when Rude was coming over initially?
Yeah.
Didn't that take a bit of time for him to get his visa?
Let's, for argument's sake, say he can. Would you put him in charge against Chelsea?
No, definitely not. I think we all. I think logically you want to have the best chance to win that game. So, yeah, you probably would want him to be there, but then also you don't want him to be on a back foot straight away if he loses that game, because with our fan base, people just want somebody to fail, and there's still people who think Ten Hag is the man for the job, who are going to be like, we shouldn't have gotten rid of Ten Hag, we should have kept him. Like, there's still people who think that we could have finished top 4 this season.
I still don't think we will.
No, we absolutely won't.
No. But do you think it would be too much pressure to throw him in against Chelsea? If he loses that game, he's immediately probably
I don't
under
think
a
we
lot
should.
of pressure from the fan base.
I'm being honest with you. I think if you're the manager of United, pressure is part of the job. So if he's able to get that job and he's able to get into it, take it, allow him manage it. But if I was Ineos, I wouldn't want him to be under instant pressure from the media, and that's a big part of the job. So
yeah, you've got to protect him, haven't you?
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't. I'd probably get him involved. But you see, the thing is, he wouldn't even train the players just yet. So no, if you to stum it down, I'll say no. I wouldn't have him managing. I'd have him on the sidelines, watching the game, probably getting involved slightly, but let Rude manage it. The thing is with Rude as well, he came into this job with the idea that Ten Hag was going to eventually get sacked and he get an opportunity. I don't think he would have thought anything like this could have happened so quickly.
No. Really, you seem to be in disagreement. And just for clarity, I'm not saying he would be under pressure from the board or from anybody else.
I don't think he's
saying
under pressure.
the fans would be on his back and the media definitely would be on his back.
The fans wrote an open letter to Ineos to keep. I don't care what the fans. Who cares, right? Like we're in this mess because people listen to the fans, right?
Like fucking petition.
That petition drove me mad.
I don't care. I don't care what the fans think. I don't even I don't want them to listen to me specifically, like me specifically.
They pay people for these decisions.
What do I know? Like, what do you like? We're all, unless for some reason someone works in football, like actually, we're all couch managers. Like, it's ridiculous, right? Like, fan sentiment is irrelevant because every single fan will fall into line if the correct decisions are made and we win, right? That's just it, right? So if you hire people like James Wilcox and Dan Ashworth and and Omar, and you hire these people, like, you're going to listen to them, which is exactly what didn't happen with Poch and Ten Hag and why we're in this mess in the first place. So I would say, like, I think that everyone's in agreement that no one cares about what the fans think, and which is why they sacked, which is why they sacked Ten Hag now, and which is why they got Amorim in, and which is why they made a lot of decisions.
Just saying, Riddy, though. People do care about fan opinion. That's why we have the podcast, right?
Yeah. If you, by the way, if you do care about fan opinions, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Because all my fans hate me. All my fans hate me. Like, it's just like, I don't care what they think. They all hate me.
They hate watch.
Yeah. But I will say this real quick about putting him in charge. I would, because I think that the 5 at the back system will be very strong against Chelsea, and I think that it will probably make a loss less likely, right? And
yeah. Do we have 3 fit centre backs?
I have no idea.
Probably not. No. I know we only have 1 fit fullback at the moment. Do we not? Or is Mazraoui fit?
No,
Mazraoui's grand. Yeah,
Mazraoui's fit now. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It'll be grand.
We're never going to see the 10 again, so I'm a little sad about that. You know what I mean?
I thought he was trying to get himself sacked with decisions like that.
100%.
I think Dallo was trying to get him sacked at the weekend.
Yeah.
Dallo fucking loved him, though.
Do you know what? I saw social media posts from a lot of Man United players. I didn't see one from Dallo.
I'm pretty sure he put one out.
Yeah. He did. I'm pretty sure I read it.
Yeah.
Did he?
I don't think did Ahmad do it?
I very much doubt Ahmad did.
Imagine if Ahmad just put up that photo of him on the sideline looking like he wanted to kill himself.
I was just going to say that he would have sent him a text with just that picture of him being substitute on in the last 5 minutes.
Thanks for the season, boss.
Appreciate it, boss. Thank you.
You're right. Dallo hasn't posted anything.
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't see one from Dallo.
I thought Dallo did.
He posted about the game tomorrow, an hour ago. So
he probably put it on his story then, because I'm 100% sure he did.
Yeah, he might have done.
It was yesterday, though, wasn't it, to be fair? So yeah, he might have put on his story.
Yeah, he might have done. Okay. Moving on. So, Amorim's our new manager. Probably in the next couple of days, that'll be confirmed. Riddy, where is he looking in January? What does he need to strengthen? What does he need to do to implement his system?
I think that, well, the first things first is I do think he needs a left wing back. So I would go back and buy Alvaro Fernandez from Benfica, I think is where he's at. Or no, he's not. Is he in the Spanish league or is he in Benfica? He's in Benfica, yeah.
He's a midfielder.
I would buy him back immediately, and I'd play him because he's been great. And then I would probably say a defensive midfielder, but I don't like. I'm so biased because I think our players are actually really good, right?
I think they are.
I think that we need a left wing back. We probably need another center back. But
Jared Braithwaite,
sell Lindelof, replace it with someone good. And then I would go our midfield. Our midfield's good. I think it's with Ugarte, it's pretty strong. Our attack, I think, is honestly, this is going to be insane to a lot of you, but I think our attack is the best part of our team, and it's just been so wasted.
We've scored 1 goal this season. I'm fucking sure of it.
No, I know, but it's not their fault.
Yeah,
it's not their fault. It's the fact that you have Dallo taking a shot while Marcus Rashford is sitting at right back, right? It's that shit. In fact, I looked at the statistics, and Rashford and Højlund have only missed, between the two of them, 1 big chance each.
Yeah.
Right? They've only missed 1 big actual chance each. Garnacho's missed a lot, like, whatever. But in reality, like, we're not creating chances for our best finishers, and then we're like, damn, why can't we finish? It's so weird. Like, why is Marcus Rashford playing right back?
To be fair, though,
someone in the chat just said Haaland would struggle to score in this system.
Yeah.
Yes, you would.
I think the issue is, as in obviously that stat is correct. I saw it the other day, 2 big chances missed for both of them. Højlund hasn't played that much. Xerxes had quite a lot of chances created for him. He's just so profligate. He cannot finish his dinner. But like, I think Xerxes, what the hell do we do with him?
He's a Firmino. What do you mean?
Oh man, he's not as creative.
I think he's absolutely creative.
I put a tweet out there saying that he sort of reminds me of Nwankwo Kanu. Just because of the fact he's got the technical ability, he's got the ball driving ability, but he can't score.
But to be fair, he's being played in a position that he's not all that familiar with. He's not an out-and-out number 9, but he's being asked to play in that role.
But then why did we sign him?
He's a good false 9.
To have another option.
But like I said, if we're playing a 10, it's going to be Bruno playing the 10. Let's be fair. Do we want another Donny situation? We have Mason Mount who can play the 10 as well.
No, but he's an actual holding. He's an actual hold-up striker. Like, he's not Donny.
But then, like I said, why do we sign him if we're going to play Højlund? The two of them probably aren't going to play together.
I think that they would play very well together, especially under Amorim. I would not be surprised if Amorim at some point does play the two of them together.
But Højlund up front with Xerxes and Bruno behind. But
that's not the formation though, really. Like, as in, it's a 5-3. It's a 5-2-3 with the 2 centre mids, and I know they're not wingers per se, but they're inside forwards either side. Yeah. So the thing is, if you're going to be playing somebody on the left, it's going to be Rashford or it's going to be Garnacho, and then on the right, it's going to be Bruno or Ahmed or Anthony. So, or Mason Mount, because he's played there before. But like,
what about Mount?
Yeah, but like, as in Mount, there's only going to be 2 centre mid positions, and do you think Bruno has the capacity? He probably does. The 3 defenders behind him. Him and Ugarte could play alongside each other.
It would have to be Ugarte, though. It couldn't be next to Mainu, could it? I don't think.
No, and like the thing is, I said it already. I think Mainu was probably lucky to get injured at the time he got injured, because he hasn't been great this season.
I don't think he's been bad. He's been our best midfielder. Like, it's just that the team's been so shit.
No, but like, that's the thing. The best midfielder in a steaming pile of shite isn't really saying much, is it?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Don't forget, Mainu had a really busy summer with England.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm not saying that he should be criticised at all. I'm just saying, by his standards, they've been poor. And I think the vultures would have come down for him? Absolutely. I'm happy that I want to phrase this. I'm happy that he's out of the team, because with the performance that he was showing, it was a matter of time before people started fucking slating him.
Yeah, he'll just get jumped up and down on. It's not his fault.
No.
And again, he's one that's really being hurt by the system he's being asked to play in, because he's not a naturally defensive player. He's not a naturally attacking player. He's a facilitator. He's the one that sits between the two. And I think he might flourish in Amorim's system if he's being asked to play there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you're gonna have Ugarte as his job. Like Ugarte can't pass. Everyone knows Ugarte can't pass. Like, unfortunately, he can't. He's a bruiser. He gets the ball and he immediately dishes it out to Amainu, right? And that's not the pass. Like, Ten Hag was trying to. I think the reason Ten Hag didn't play him is because Ten Hag doesn't know how to play a player like that. He knows how to play a traditional six, and the only traditional six we had is Casemiro, and he's old.
His legs are gone,
Yeah, he's just it's done. So I think that like Ugarte in this new system will be really, really good. He'll dish it out to Mainu. Mainu will then get it up to Bruno, Xerxes, Ahmad, etc. And then we can break from there with the two wing backs, doing.
I'm just so glad we never have to see Casemiro and Erik sometime in the centre mid again.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
My God.
Don't say that.
I mean, we always say that, and then he does.
Yeah, then it's gonna happen. Yeah. I know.
I mean, we may very well see that tomorrow night against.
Yeah, but not.
No, he'll play Ugarte. He'll play Ugarte for sure.
They've both been good recently, though. To be fair to them, they both.
Yeah, but like I said, they both only have 60 minutes in the tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you really want to be changing both of your centre midfielders during a game?
Yeah.
Probably not, but it wouldn't be the first time I mean, yeah. Tomorrow night we've got Leicester, and Rude is going to be in charge. So I want to talk about Rude very quickly. He's kind of got probably a free hit for the next couple of games to do whatever the hell he wants to do with no consequences, right? There's some reports out today that Rude might be leaving when Amorim comes in with his staff. What's your take on that? Do you think he should be going? Do you think Amorim would be wise to let him go, or is it a case of, well, look, the manager wants his own coaching staff, let him have his own coaching staff?
He'll want to be paid off, won't he?
Yeah, he will.
Well, so we've heard, I think, that basically he'll talk to Amorim and he'll see. I think that Rennie Hawk is definitely just out. And then I think Rude will want to speak for sure to Amorim before he makes a decision, and I think the other assistant coaches will probably stay. I know Amorim is bringing, I think, 3 coaches, and that's going to leave. Well, so I think Rude will probably stay. The question is I think Rude will want to stay. The question is, does Amorim want him to stay? So that'll be a conversation they'll have to have together first. But I know they're going to talk.
I think the thing is with Rude. Everybody knows Rude. He's got an ego. Is he going to want to just be a coach? Is he going to be a coach? He wants to be a manager. Let's be honest. He came here with the idea that he would get an opportunity to be a manager. I think if you looked at him during the summer, when that opportunity came up, he must have been licking his lips at the idea of getting an opportunity to come in as an interim after Ten Hag got sacked, probably around Christmas, because I don't think any of us expected Ineos to move this quick. No, let's be real.
And I think, didn't they?
Yeah, but like I think even everybody was like, even myself, tweeted out that the expectation was that he wouldn't leave until the summer. So I think Rude would have thought that there was a massive chance that he could have been a manager for a while, and maybe he doesn't want to just sit around on his arse or his hands and collecting a paycheck. He probably wants to be a manager again. But then you see the hit pieces that are coming out today. You don't know if those are hit pieces coming from United or Ten Hag.
SEG.
Yeah, like as in
you
never know. But I think I don't think there's a spot for him to be involved in a massive capacity under Amorim. I think there'll be massive disagreements about the style of football, what they both want, and eventually he'll just get a golden handshake and be told to fuck off.
So the reports are Amorim is bringing 3 coaches with him. That I don't know if he's bringing an assistant manager. Is there a potential that if there is an agreement to be made that Rude would go, I'll be your assistant, and when a job comes along, I could move?
One of the 3 he was bringing is supposed to be a goalkeeper coach, so it's 2 and a goalkeeper coach.
It's a good job David De Gea's not still here because he doesn't like his own goalkeeper coaches.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an opportunity. I think that the thing that we have to realize is that his Rude's stock was honestly pretty low.
Yeah.
Post see. I mean, there was reports about him falling out with all his players, and I think that,
Those are coming out today as well.
Yeah, they are.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, his stock's low, I think, in the football world from a managerial perspective. And so I think for him, a good call is kind of do a McKenna and spend a lot of time as an assistant manager to somebody who has a lot of experience. I mean, how old is Rude now?
He's much older than Amorim anyway.
Yeah, I think he's nearly 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there might be an ego thing there where
Oh,
you're like,
Rube's always had a fucking massive ego.
this dude's 39. Why the hell would I, whatever? But if he does suck it up, I think at the end of the day, like he did want to come in and make United better. And I think there's a good chance that he would stay, learn, get his stock up, and then go and can manage another team. Because I think that maybe he could get another Dutch team, but I think maybe his ambitions are a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, he wants to manage in the Premier League.
For what it's worth, my 2 cents, I think keeping Rude around would be a good thing because he already has that link to the players. He's already got the inside knowledge of the club as a whole. He understands the institution. He understands the history of the club. And I think as a transitional piece, keeping Rude, at least in the interim till the end of the season, would be beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. But I guess Ten Hag also had the opportunity to have somebody alongside him to help him transition into managing United, and he rejected it as well. So there
didn't work for him.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, there could be also an ego thing from Amorim saying that he wants his own players, he wants his own management team. So
yeah,
it could be that sort of discussion where it's like, I don't want you to be involved in it. You're part of a losing team already. Watch out.
The thing about a really good communicator is and this is true of any leader in any organization, is the ability to connect and to empathize and to communicate well with your players. And I think someone who is very, very, very egotistical and very, very, very prideful, a la Ten Hag, right, will not be known as a good communicator because at the end of the day, you're always going to want to be right. And I think that's really tough as a leader. And so I don't know if that's really going to be, or that really is Amorim's personality. Obviously, I'm talking out of my ass on this one, but my feeling is that someone who is known for really being a really great communicator most likely does not have a overly, interruptive pride.
Okay. I'm going to pick up some questions from the chat because we haven't done one in a while. So there's a couple here. I'm going to start with one for Paddy. So Paddy, we've got a question here from Lenny James.
Lenny.
Yeah, I know.
Lenny.
If you're a follower of the Attacking Football Twitter, you'll get that. Do you think Xerxes could play in the role behind Højlund?
We sort of talked about this earlier. No. Okay. Good. Being honest, I don't. As I said, I don't think Amorim's going to sort of play in that style. Like, I think maybe, but like Xerxes, when he's played sort of on the wider positions, it's been on the left, hasn't it? So if you want to get the best out of the players, you're going to start Rashford or Garnacho on the left. I think he's basically going to be a number 2 striker.
Yeah, agreed. Another one, we've kind of touched on this already, but Riddy, which players drop out for the midfield and attack in Amorim's formation?
See, that is the problem I've always had with a 5 at the back or 3 at the back, is because that automatically takes a player out of the midfield or the attack. And I think our midfield is weaker than our attack, right? Yeah. So you keep 3 players in attack and you drop 1 in the midfield. So I would obviously say, right, if you have Ugarte and Bruno, right? Ugarte and Mainu, that's the natural pairing for me. After that, what I would do is that I would play Bruno, and then like the question is like when Mount gets fit, like people forget we spent $60 million on that guy, right? And he was supposed to be
we don't forget.
Some people forget that he exists. Some people forget that he exists.
Yeah, so, true. Yeah, I've a few times forgotten he's existed.
No, so I think that the question is like we bought Mount for $60 million. People forget how good and important Mount was to their Champions League campaign where they won. Clearly, we had a reason why we bought him, and clearly he does exist somewhere in the midfield at some point, right? I think the question is like, does he do him and Mainu kind of switch out? Like, I think I think him and Mainu could kind of balance up each other and rotate. And then, like, who does Ugarte rotate for?
Casemiro. Yeah.
Maybe. Right? I think the benefit of wing backs is that, like, if Casemiro has deficiencies, wing back can invert and cover. So there is.
And a 3-man defense.
Yeah, and a 3-man defense. Like,
that's a lot better.
That's a good point.
But I do think most likely we'll drop someone out of the midfield, obviously, to accommodate the 3 in attack, and that person will probably be Casemiro or Mount or
yeah. I think
maybe Bruno.
I think Bruno's
I think there is a mild chance that one day he drops Bruno at some point.
I think Bruno plays on the right, though. I don't foresee.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I don't foresee Bruno playing. Like, do you remember Bruno played the right for Ranić? I could imagine him doing something similar to that, sort of like in the intricate position where he's playing us at the right.
He plays on the right of 3 for Portugal.
There you go.
But okay, another question. What concerns do you have around the appointment of Amorim?
I honestly have just been looking at the positives. It's so nice to it's so nice to just him not to be there. So my concerns are that he can't start soon enough.
Okay, Riddy?
Yeah, I don't have any concerns.
None? Alfie?
Yeah, me either, to be honest. I think we're going to win the league. We're going to win the
Fuck me.
We're going on a title charge in the second half of the season, boys.
Boys, are we about to do the very first ever Man United podcast stroke live stream that doesn't have any concerns in it? Because
no, I'm pretty sure there's definitely been a couple.
I am concerned that a three at the back leaves our. I don't have any concerns. I'm lying.
I guess I have concerns. Okay. I actually do have some concerns. Obviously, if a manager is coming in, bringing a new formation, if you look at Ranić, especially, I'm going to say Ranić again. I said this earlier as well, just off cam. If you look at Ranić, he had a very bespoke style of play where it was pressing, people had positions, defined roles, and the players just said, no, fuck it, don't want to do that. So
if that was different.
That's because Ronaldo was there, I know. Ronaldo, the ego, everything like that.
That's exactly why.
Yeah. But like, there's the chance that some players just aren't up for it. Like, I know we all love Marcus Rashford, but is he a player who's at his best when he's given a free role rather than a defined role?
No.
I think he's so much better when he's given a free role, when he doesn't have to defend that like that. Well, then I'm the only one here who thinks that. Okay, fair enough.
No, I actually think he's much better when he has a defined role. Oh shit, that was a hell of a goal.
It was a goal. Yeah. Are you watching the sporting game?
Yeah, I'm watching the sporting game.
Who scored?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hillman got the first one. Easy. Actually, that's going to bring me on nicely to the next viewer question. By the way, shout out Saeed in the chat. How you doing, mate?
It was
question from
Gyökeres.
Oh, was it Gyökeres? Okay, cool. And that's probably going to be my choice as well. If you could take one player from Sporting to come with Amorim, who are you taking? Do you know? I probably. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult not to look at him, isn't it? But I think Hjulmand is also a really good shout.
I would say probably
him.
I think there's 4.
Maybe Gyökeres?
Giovanni Quenda.
Yeah, I think there's him, Gyökeres, Højlund, or however you say his name, Diamande. I think he'd be a good centre off.
I think that was Gyökeres.
I think
Victor Gyökeres was probably the best and most reasonable.
Yeah, it was Gyökeres. I would take him. I would take him.
Absolutely.
He's got a release clause in the summer as well.
Like, as in, let's be honest here, if you're giving him over any other player, that's it. He is world class. Riddy, I love your camera.
I think Amorim's a big fan of Ugarte, so I don't think he's gonna go looking for someone like Hjulmand. So I think I think Gyökeres is probably the guy I'd go with, actually.
Yeah. I think like the most obvious weakness in our team is left back, though. Left back.
True.
Left back and right back. I know people. Actually, no, Mazraoui I like. But You see, the thing is, we need him to start more at right back though, rather than at the 10 and left back. And
No,
I
because
think
Dallow's much worse at left back than he is.
no, I just
Dallo-
don't want to see Dallo in the squad. Fucking
Yeah,
hate him.
you hate
Fucking-
Dallow? Okay.
I don't actually hate Dallo. I think he's a nice fella. I just don't think he's good enough.
Do you know what he's really good at though, Dallo? To
High
give him
fives.
plaudits? High fives. He's
Yeah,
fucking
baby.
brilliant at them.
Yeah.
If high fives were clearances, he would be the best defender in the world.
You know what?
Telling you.
He is the Portuguese Rodrigo de Paul.
Okay. Yeah.
You
I
know
can
what
see
I
that.
mean? You know,
Yeah.
like Rodrigo de Paul and Messi, like that.
Yeah.
He's like that with
Yeah.
Cristiano.
100%. Okay. Riddy, of the players in the squad right now, who is going to benefit most from Amorim coming in?
Definitely our midfielders for sure.
Ugarte.
Ugarte.
Ugarte,
Absolutely.
Manu, Mount, Bruno, Ahmad,
Onana. Onana will play in the team.
Onana, because he's I would say I mean, dude, literally like basically every single one of our players. I mean, except for probably Dallow and but I think that having an established quality midfield will make every single person and every single player improve, because
tactic.
like having a real system might help. No, but I definitely think our midfielders and our defense. I mean, everybody, dude, honestly. But I'm gonna say our midfielders. I'm gonna say an actual answer, which is our midfielders.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at one, it has to be Ugarte. Most obvious, played under him already, knows how to get the best out of him. There's a reason why PSG played so much money from Sporting for him. It's because he got him playing perfectly.
Yeah.
All winning, so many interceptions. Anybody who watched him, so bloody good. And the thing is, we spent that money based on his time at Sporting, not at PSG. And then we have the manager who got the best out of him. So obviously, he's going to make our midfield better. And I also think Hoyland will get better.
I don't think it's helped him that Erik Ten Hag really obviously didn't want him.
He 100% didn't
want him.
Absolutely not.
He wanted Amrabat, right?
He did, yeah. He wanted Amrabat, like, Jesus Christ.
Mental.
The interesting thing I will say about Xerxes is that Xerxes was very clearly a club player, like it wasn't a Ten Hag player. Ten Hag just said sure. Same with Ugarte, by the way. Like, and the club had Amorim on the list, right? Why would we buy Xerxes but have Amorim as one of our top choices if we didn't think that Xerxes would fit in all of the managers that we were going to go for? So I would say that Xerxes most likely there is an idea of why we bought him, and I think that he'll become a good player. I think that.
Do you know what Xerxes? You know what Xerxes could almost become? Do you remember Moussa Dembele, who played for Spurs?
Yes.
Yeah. That physical player. He originally came from AZ as an attacking mid, so that in that role.
He did, yeah.
I'm not saying that, like, I don't think it will happen. That's just bullshit, to be honest.
Another interesting comment from the chat, and you'll appreciate this one, really. Big up from Detroit. I think Yoro, Delict, and Mazraoui will all thrive under Amorim's new formation 3-4-2-1. Yoro is great at defending wide channels, and Delict is a great middle centre back. How do you feel about
that? Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. 3-4-2. Yeah, I would say it's probably a 3-4-2-1.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's more fluid than that. I think it's much more fluid than that. I think it's not like. I think the front three in the midfield, like they're not set. You know, maybe the midfield is, but I think the front three most likely kind of moves around depending with the wing back. So I mean, yeah, I like it. I think that Mazraoui. I don't know if Mazraoui is as much of a wing back as he is a pure, fullback. So I think that he might struggle a little bit. I've never really seen his crossing or his other, but I think that. Mazraoui, yeah, I mean, I think
finishing is definitely better than Dallow's anyway.
Yeah,
yours probably is, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't get into that position.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. But I'm excited.
Cool.
Shout out, right?
Shout out Detroit.
You know what Detroit have? Quality pizza.
They actually do. I will.
What? They do, yeah.
No,
This
they
podcast
they
has taken a real
legitimately-
left turn here. Okay.
Oh,
They have the third best type of pizza in America.
they opened up a new place in Dublin called it's like Detroit style pizza or something, and it's unbelievable. So yes, big up Detroit.
It is a less thick Sicilian slice. It's
So
very good.
What is
The
what's
not
the
a-
top,
Attacking Football Pizza Podcast.
what's the top
Not
three
as good as
then?
New York. It's not a New York slice, and it's
Fair.
not a New Haven slice.
What
It's
about
not a bar. It's the fourth best. It's the
what
fourth
about
best.
Chicago?
What about Chicago?
I've
Move
never
on.
had a
Moving on. Moving on.
I've never had a Chicago style pizza.
What
Don't even
pizza would
mention
Amarim?
Chicago.
What pizza would
This is
Amarim
gonna
meet?
take.
Amarim would
It's
be a
gonna
New
take a
York
turn.
style.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
No, I think Amarim is a Chicago guy.
Oh, no.
Deep pan
No,
with
he's
that
probably
long, luscious hair.
He is a probably a Neapolitan style pizza. Man, I can see that. Nice thin,
Plenty
nice
of olive
thin
oil.
crust. Thin crust. No, nice thin crust, a little charred, a little floppy.
Jesus Christ.
Good sauce. I mean, yeah, it's a Neapolitan pizza. How can you go wrong with that thing? I love it.
One of the comments there is LA got a hold in a podcast. You're talking about pizza.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Because there's
we're
nothing better in
taking
this world than
class.
pizza.
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
better.
yeah. And funnily enough, that was your favorite guy, Paddy, as well. It's Lenny.
Oh, what a man! What a man!
What a guy. Okay.
To be
listen.
fair though, you know what? Pizza.
Thank you for that,
No, you
Paddy.
said
It's
it.
insightful as
You
always.
said it.
Appreciate that. We've spent an
Maybe we'll get
hour
a pizza.
talking about football, and now we're going to do 20 minutes on pizza. Okay. In the chat, let me know your favorite pizza and subscribe to the podcast. So we'll do a pizza podcast next week. But for now, we're talking about the sacking of Ten Hag, and we're talking about the impending appointment of Ruben Amorim. Alfie, you've been a bit quiet today. I want to know your thoughts on Amorim. What are we going to expect from him in his first few months?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I watch the Portuguese league every week, but I think we can all be a bit excited that they've won 9 games out of 9, unbeaten in Europe. So he can obviously get a few things right. I'm just looking forward to seeing a bit of defensive stability. I don't think it's going to happen straight away, but I just think over his tenure, I think we will see. I can't remember the last time I can be relying on a defense week in, week out. I can't remember the last time I thought we're going to get a clean sheet today, especially the last few months under Ten Hag, where the midfield getting overrun and then they fucking have 15 one-on-ones each game. So I'm just looking forward to seeing a bit of defensive stability. Whether he comes in and plays his free back straight away, I'm not sure. But I hope he does, to be honest. I hope he does.
You know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking
Enjoying
forward
watching
to...
us.
Well, yes, that too. But I'm looking forward to match day rolling around and not having to watch 60 yards of empty space where our midfield should be.
Yeah.
That's what I genuinely think that is the be all and end all of our problems. But speaking of Paddy, Amorim walks in through the door, let's say Monday morning, right? He's written his to-do list. What's on it? What has he got to do to arrest the fortunes of the club?
Bro, I'm not paid enough to tell you that. I think the first thing is you have to. I know football, like as in Fabian Dell said it best. You have to go back to the basics. The fundamentals of football, like we all know where our issues are. It's the gaps in the squad. It's the mistakes. I do think, being honest, we've been better this season. I know the results haven't really been better, but
calm down, Riddy.
But like, as in, look at the West Ham game. We were good.
Yeah, you know, we were good against Crystal Palace as well. To be fair,
bro, we were so shit.
Against West Ham, we were good. Let's be honest.
It was fucking awful.
We were
so bad.
We should have been 3 or 4-0 up. Yeah, absolutely.
Terrible.
I mean, like, the thing is, you know, I don't like Ten Hag. You know, I wanted him gone. But
yeah,
let's be honest. That game against West Ham, shouldn't have lost it. It was never a penalty.
But okay, the penalty doesn't happen. We still draw them. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Really, you have to realize I'm on your side here.
No, I know that. I know that.
No one's
But
on Riddy's side.
I'm picturing you as everyone on Twitter that is stupid. So just roll with me here.
Just picture me in jorts again, and then you'll get that hate out of you.
No, look, I think we've been pretty bad all year, except for that random like 7-8, whatever that's
Against
it was like
Barnsley.
a League Two team. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here?
But no, I honestly think underneath it all, like if you look at the shots against, like I know we had like a run of like 10 games or something last season where we had like 20 shots against us. This season it hasn't been that bad. Obviously, we haven't been Man United caliber, but we have improved.
We have had a negative goals, not goal difference. We've had a negative XG for to against. So you do goals, you do XG for, and you minus XG against. We have a negative XG that thing.
Yeah, but you also have to account for we've had games where we've been absolutely peppered. So
why have we been peppered?
That goes to my point. That's
but what I'm saying is, if you take the averages out, or you take out the outliers, statistically, I'm not. I'm defending
statistically.
I'm defending somebody that I don't want to defend.
Yeah, why are we doing that?
No,
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that. But even if you look at the West Ham game in the first half, like the statistics, we may have had more possession, but
we had way more XG though.
Yeah, but
West
again,
Ham ended the game with more XG.
I think.
Did
Okay,
they?
I know.
Yeah, they
I
did.
know.
Yeah.
They did have more XG. Actually, they did.
Did they?
They did.
It's because
You got to go and look it up now. That's fine.
I'm literally on my
They
phone.
did. Yeah, they did. They did.
The
They
Dalot
did. Who did we play midweek?
Only give it like 0.432 or something.
No, it was 0.75 the Dalot chance. They gave it 7.5.
Oh yeah, they had
We
more.
played
Yeah,
midweek
yeah, they
last
did.
week. Who the hell was that?
Like,
Okay.
on football bit,
yeah. To be fair, look at that. But you probably can't see it. Second half, West Ham at 2.97 XG.
They did, yeah.
Oh, geez.
What? But then the penalty was 0.8 of that.
All right, Riddy, sorry.
Yeah.
First half we were good. Okay, one half of football.
Not good.
But we were one half of
worse.
football for 3 years. It's
We were
been 30 minutes a
abysmal.
game.
We were abysmal. Who the hell was that? Who did we play in the Europa League? Why can't I remember that?
We played
Oh, we
Porto,
played
Twente,
Fenerbahce.
and
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce,
Yeah,
yeah.
we were those. Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, Fenerbahce we were terrible.
Oh my
Awful.
god, dude. But like, here's the thing.
Porto we
can't
were
have
all
a-
right.
You can't have a Jekyll and Hyde team. Like the team was the
That
most
is-
inconsistent
yeah.
team. To answer your question, let's go back. The number one thing he does is he fixes the midfield. Because when he fixes the midfield, he fixes everything else, and that's
Doesn't
it.
create
right?
doesn't create such a massive space for people to attack all the time. You just
No,
bypass it.
but there would be situations, right? Like, here's a great example. And I think I brought this up before, but you know, when for example Dalot moves up and he inverts, there's a giant hole, and Arsenal does the same thing, but they put Rice into that slot,
yeah.
right? And it's the same thing. Like we
And
don't
Partey
have a
as well, yeah.
system. So, for example, you know, Ugarte wants to break forward. Normally, the move is that Dalot is gonna move into his position and cover that spot while he is forward, right? And then they can rotate backwards. The problem is there's none of that. And that's why there's this giant ass hole, because midfielders just start going everywhere, and no one's filling those spots, and then they break, and there's no one in the midfield.
Do you think
So,
do you think our midfielders, apart from Ugarte, are technically disciplined enough to actually play like that?
Absolutely, Mainu's amazing technically. Mount is great.
No, technically, yeah. I mean, tactically.
Discipline.
Fine.
Different,
you,
yeah.
mean, you mean disciplined? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Mount's very disciplined. I think Mainu's very disciplined. I think
I don't think
Eriksen-
mine's positionally great defensively, but then again,
Yeah,
he
but we
probably
don't-
hasn't had
you know-
that trained into him. Yeah, fair.
Look at him
It's
in the
coaching,
Euros.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's a coaching issue. Yeah,
I mean, even Sam Allardyce was able to coach his side to be disciplined. They
Sam
didn't have to be
Allardyce is the
technically
most
fantastic.
underrated. Sam
He
Allardyce is
was a good
underrated.
manager.
He was a very good manager.
No, but what I'm saying is he didn't coach elite players. He had average
He had
players.
JJ Okocha and Fernando Hierro.
Yeah, but they were both 1,000 years old when they signed for Bolton. He had Ivan Campo as well.
Juraj Djorkaeff.
You're a joker. Yeah, but they were all in like 38, 39 years of age. What I'm saying is he didn't have the caliber of players that we have at United right now. So it wasn't a,
Probably
a
does, though,
skill
to be
issue.
fair.
Fuck's sake, yeah, probably. Potentially. But he was able to set them up to be disciplined. It's a coaching thing. It's getting people in the right places and having them make informed decisions. It's coaching in the
100%,
training
100%.
ground to go, these are
100%.
scenarios you're going to face against this particular side. This is what you can expect to happen. These are the decisions I want you to make when that happens.
The issue now that we have under Amorim, though, is we have games every 3 or 4 days. When are we going to be able to do this coaching?
In the 3 days between each game.
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing though, right? Is that it's not like players. The thing is that players have grown up in, growing up in football, right? Like most likely throughout the academy years, they've played different styles, different systems, right? Like if you give them definitive, hard instructions, like most likely they will be able to pull from their past experiences to understand what that means and play that system. The main problem is that I actually don't think that we didn't have a system. I think our system was just so bad. The players were playing the system. It was just a bad system, right? And then he would just give up on the system because it just wouldn't work. So I think potentially, I think that it won't be that hard to say like, hey, do this. And they'll be like, oh, I did that when I was, in the U18s or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think a lot of the players that we're talking about, whether they could be disciplined or not, have been coached by other managers at other clubs and are probably able to do a job. And there's every possibility that
I just know that from the past, when there's been other managers, the issue has always been about time to train these things. And there's so little time, because especially when there's games every 3 days, there's a game, then there's a rest day, then there's 1 day, and then there's a day for traveling. There's so little time to actually do the training.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be too long before we're out of a couple of those competitions, so we'll have a bit more extra time.
Point. Yeah.
But here's a question for you, right? Like when Mourinho was sacked and Ollie came in, what changed in between?
Atmosphere.
Yeah, but see, that's the point, right? Like immediately things improved.
Motivation.
Happier.
The one thing that I
have
to say, and Riddy, you probably noticed from James as well, is it hasn't been as toxic this time under Ten Hag as it has been in the past.
It's been
not as it's been in the past.
Not as bad though.
They haven't down tools this time. They have down tools under a couple of other managers.
Maybe not as bad. Maybe, but the thing is that, for example, like you look at the Sancho situation, and James put this out, right? You look at the Sancho. So there's two things that James talked about. I'm not gonna, unfortunately, I obviously can't name player names, but like for example, there was a physical altercation between Ten Hag and a player. There was a situation last year where
I bet that was fucking Ronaldo.
Again, I'm not going to say anything, but it wasn't. There was a situation where players got in trouble because they were in a group chat with Sancho, and they didn't punish one of the younger players because he wanted to get on his side, and all the players started. It's like there has been some of the players think Ten Hag is one of the most unprofessional players or managers they've played under. Like. It may not be as toxic because I think under Mourinho it was probably as bad as it can possibly get, but it has been bad. It has been bad.
Right? But under Ranić was even worse than
but that's an interim manager. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The leaks as well. We haven't had as much of the player leaks under Erik Ten Hag as we did under Ollie, for example. The leaks under Ollie were horrific.
Yeah, everyone knew fucking everything under one.
But I do think like the thing is, Bailly's gone, so
Henderson's gone.
Henderson wasn't actually that bad.
Oh, poor Dean Henderson.
His agent was a bit mouthy, but he wasn't actually that bad.
He's better.
Well, Eric Bailly was a fucking rat.
Was it?
Was it Bailly?
Yeah.
It was Henderson too.
It wasn't.
Wasn't Henderson? Well, it was a little bit Henderson.
No. I told
Henderson's agent.
I told it was his agent who was milking off about crap. It wasn't him. But then obviously, like as you look at the team now, there's not too many bad eggs in it. Like as in obviously Anthony, you know the story about Anthony last season, kicking off at training, running away. Yeah. Casemiro as well, FA Cup final, refusing to play. So But that's an ego thing. I don't think that's him fucking being whatever. But yeah.
I think Casemiro despises Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
We can talk in the past now. He despised Ten Hag, and I think that actually, I think Casemiro will do really well under Amorim because come on. Because I think that,
oh, come on, I wanted to say this in focus.
I think that if a proper manager plays him in like a proper position, that he isn't so goddamn exposed because he's like 800 years old. Like maybe he'll actually be able to be a proper defensive midfielder. Like you can bring him on in the 65th minute and he can play 25 minutes, and in a proper system that he has defensive cover, right? It's a little bit easier. Like good passing lane. A lot of the reasons why he was so crap is because his passing has been so shit, but that's because the coaching has been terrible. There's been no outlets, right? And with proper passing, proper coaching, he can actually just dish it out to the closest man. So
do you know what the mad thing about that was? I remember when we first signed Casemiro, I asked about why this was happening, why he's playing as a sort of like 8 rather than a 6. And the coaching staff said that during sessions, he showed a capability to do it. So then he was given that license to be more creative. And then you see all this sort of stuff where he's trying to be Bruno Fernandes. And then we just sort of losing his position, losing the ball.
To be fair, wasn't he?
But like, to be fair, he was quality. He looked like a shit version of Yaya Toure. But like, you signed them to be a 6, let's be honest.
Are we saying that the aging central defensive midfielder might actually be all right if he doesn't have 60 yards of open space to defend with no one behind him and no one in front?
Yeah, believe it or not,
he might be all right.
He was
the 5-time Champions League winner might actually be half decent at football.
Back off with that Champions League crap.
He was very
well. Look, he didn't win them by accident, Paddy.
Fucking Di Stefano won Champions Leagues and Puskas Gold Awards and all that sort of crap. He's now fucking dead, isn't he?
I don't know if he is. Like, here's the thing. Okay. Let's say this. I will not pass any judgment on any of our players until the end of the season. Now that we have Amorim, except for Anthony.
You know what? I'm bloody. I can't wait for this expose to come out about all of the crap that went on behind the scenes.
Oh, the deep dive! I love the deep dive.
Oh, it's gonna be so.
Game's over, by the way. Game's over, by the way. I think they're gonna announce that he's leaving after this.
But
they won 3-1, by the way.
Riddy, you know as well as I do the stuff that went on behind the scenes. That's gonna be
there's gonna be a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of juicy stuff that's gonna come out.
And it's about players. It's a lot of players that he signed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. They hate him. They think he's a fucking idiot. They literally
like Lisandro Martinez blamed his injuries on him. So many players,
and he should.
Yeah, Luke Shaw.
I mean, a lot of the injuries are dead. Yeah, Luke Shaw is a really good one. As much as Luke Shaw is probably the most injury prone player since Darren Anderton. Shout out all the old people who remember Darren Anderton. I think
he was fucking born when he was.
No, he wasn't born. They used to call him Sick Note. It's brilliant. Yeah. I think Erik Ten Hag, it's come out in the last 24 hours. If United lost a game, he would give them an extra coaching session, and then they wouldn't have time to rest, and then they'd lose another game. So they'd have another extra training session.
Do you not remember the Brentford game?
Yeah, when he made them run the distance that Brentford outrun them by. Yeah, can you imagine if he did that after every game? They'd have circled.
No, but that wasn't that like the first. Wasn't that like the first? That we all loved him for that. Was that when he like did it too?
It was his second.
We were all like,
it was his second. Yeah, it was the second. It was the second game in charge. He lost his first 2.
Lads, you just have to realize we are stupid people. We're not sports scientists.
No. I think from a motivational perspective, from the second game of the season, once in a while, that's great. The reason why they got injured was he did that every goddamn game. Because he was so bad tactically, he made them punish run every goddamn game. So I hate this camera. In reality, the situation is that like I also understand why the players got so frustrated because he's making them do extra training sessions because they lost, but they lost because he's so bad tactically, and then they get more tired, so they lose again. Because of his tactics. So
it's self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy, yeah.
No, the players probably are pissed because they're like, I'm getting injured because we're losing because he's making us run more, but his tactics suck, so we're losing. It's like I get why they I get why. I'm sure Mount has been faking injury, by the way. Like that's not. We've heard about that. That's definitely not. It's definitely not true. But in my heart, I think that's true.
He also chose his own doctor as well. Like isn't this
No, that was
Malacia as well did that. Yeah,
Malacia,
but Mount did that as well.
What did he do?
Choose his own doctor.
Yeah,
not the club doctor.
Yeah.
Why?
But they don't trust the club doctor either. That's why they got the new Gary O'Driscoll or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
the Arsenal one.
Brian O'Driscoll. Yeah, Brian O'Driscoll's cousin.
We've been going quite long, but I do have one final question to ask the boys before we
subscribe
wrap up.
to the channel, you motherfuckers.
Apart from you should
now.
Definitely subscribe to the channel.
I'll never call you a motherfucker again unless you subscribe right now.
If you subscribe to the channel, Riddy's camera will be fixed. God, please, go on, what? Yeah, there you go. Well done, whoever subscribed. While we're on the subject
Lenny just said first one to take their top off wins.
Yeah, I've done that on the podcast before.
I'm wearing a headset.
That's not happening again.
Christ, Lenny, get a grip.
On the subject of injuries, gentlemen, do we think with a new coach in charge, our injury problems will suddenly start to subside?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
And why?
Ten Hag is gone.
Oh well, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you very much.
It's because he's not going to do the. Well, okay, so there's a couple reasons, right? One is training, one is tactical. The first one is that I don't think Amorim is going to make them do all that bullshit where he like makes them run extra training sessions. Like anyone who's ever played on a sports team knows that like you need proper rest days in order to recuperate, and it's just that's how you compound injuries. But the other thing is that if you look at the running total that players are being forced to run because of the complete lack of because of the complete lack of anyone in the midfield and the distance that players are being forced to run because of the lack of proper tactics, I think that players are going to have a lot of stress taken off of them, and they're going to have a lot of weight taken off of them that they're not going to just run as much, right?
It'll be less sprinting.
Yeah.
High intensity sprinting. Yeah.
Most
right.
Most of the injuries are coming from sprints, and when you have that gap in your midfield and you have to sprint to get back, that's going to cause an injury every single time. And like the thing is, as you say, more control, key thing, less chaos, less sprinting up and down the pitch. You're going to get less of these hamstring injuries, these niggles, anything that can cause you to get injured. So just
agreed.
I think Riddy's camera is injured.
Riddy's camera is
you know what? Riddy, I think it's
Riddy's camera was supplied by SEG.
I think it's actually I think it might actually be the scarf.
You think it's the scarf?
I think it's trying to focus on the scarf.
Yeah, take it down.
Focus on the scarf.
Because
no, it's like zooming in. Maybe I have to clean it. Whatever, I'll clean it later.
Too late now, anyway.
Right, listen, gents, we have to bring this this lovely evening to a close. I think I speak for all of us here when I say that we're really excited to get Amorim through the door, and I think we're all going to wish him the very best of luck. Listen, my thanks to Paddy, to Alfie, to Riddy. Thank you for joining me this week. Guys, please subscribe to the podcast. We've got Jack Talbot from transfers.com next week coming on to talk about who we think Amorim will be looking at in both January and the summer. And then the next few weeks, we've got some great guests lined up as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Gentlemen.
Cheers, guys.
Pleasure as always. Thanks for watching.